From the new recording lair located deep beneath the Wine and Spirit store in Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
You're listening to the Masonic Light Podcast. Studio 665 presents Masonic Light Podcast. This show is recorded by Masons, for Masons. It is for entertainment purposes only. And please, no wagering. This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. And now, here's your host.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Hey now.
It is episode 134.
5. 6.
223 should be 134, according to that sign.
That's right.
Oh, okay. We erased the other one. Okay, never mind.
So I am correct.
Kind of tells you what kind of show this is going to be.
We have difficulty dealing with numbers.
When we post these on the interwebs, we should just number them all 134
there you
from
go.
here going.
So welcome, everybody.
Wow.
Having a little fun here today. We've been sitting around solving the problems of the universe.
Again.
Yes. Actually, not even Masonic ones this time. We're solving the big ones. But,
Make his pizza round or square.
Jack, what have you been up to since our last episode?
Oh, my goodness. What did I do yesterday? I went to the Tall Cedars dinner, at which I am a member of Lancaster Forest number 27. And I was invited to speak, and it was late enough, and it was seafood night at the trough.
At America's largest smorgasbord.
Breakfast mountain. It's just it's a monument of gluttony. Anyway, the place is called Shady Maple, in case you don't know about it. And it is a smorgasbord of epic proportions. It's Roman-esque. It's just huge. Anyway, so I gave an abbreviated copy of my St. John's talk, and then we bolted. Still super excited about our lodge and the guys and the work they're doing. The new candidates coming through are really enthusiastic, and we're just sitting at a really cool place right now.
Brother Larry.
Yeah, I was with Jack last night at Tall Cedars, and it was junior-senior night, so being Grand Tall, I didn't have anything really to do except enjoy the company of the people at the table. Your wife, my wife, is a pain. And
obviously not a listener.
And met a past Supreme Grand Tall Cedar, John Shope, and his wife. Lovely couple. Come to find out that he played for a high school football team that played my high school football team. And in our senior year in 1961, we played against each other.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, absolutely. And he became a PIAA, Pennsylvania Intercollegiate Athletic Association referee for football. Mm-hmm. So he knew my football coaches. He knew people I grew up and went to school with. It was a fantastic night. Really,
we had 3 past Supreme Tall Cedars there last night.
Yeah, we did.
And I don't know, we only had like 23 people there, and 3 of them were past Supreme Tall Cedars.
They just saw there was a meal happening somewhere.
So you've been to Goose and Gridiron lately?
Yes, actually, Goose and Gridiron's starting to become a little bit more active again. Some more people coming in, so I feel good about that. But I like it. It's about 12, 13 people, and conversation is good. We have restrictions on talking about the Masonic Center.
Huzzah.
Yeah.
So, Larry, what do you think is the sweet spot for your Goose and Gridiron? Like, I've been there when it was 4 people, and because I don't really like people, I thought it was perfect at 4 to 6 people. Where do you think is the sweet spot?
I think the sweet spot is between 6 and 8 people, absolutely.
Because I've been there when it was 30 and 40 people, and it's terrible. It's loud, and you don't get food.
Yeah. And I do like where we're at right now. I don't know that we'll go ever above 12, but 8 seems to be.
Well, that's when you franchise it, Larry, and start setting people up in their own.
Yeah, 8 seems to be about the best size, and everybody's communal, and we have a good time. It's fun.
They're very communal.
Yeah, and we can all be part of the conversation without 35 other people in the background. I don't think we'll ever get
Yeah, I've been there on mornings where it just broke up into like 4 distinctly separate conversations. Yeah.
I have not been up to much. I was at the Tall Cedars last night. I've just been absolutely swamped busy dealing with Doberman puppies, 12 of them, and doctor's appointments. It seems like every day I'm going to either a human or a dog vet. So
Maybe we could add that to our show topic list.
my Herthel cell carcinoma, is that what's it's a very rare thyroid cancer. Josh, what have you been up to?
Pete, can you sign this HIPAA form before we go?
Absolutely nothing.
And Tim, you've got your 27-inch iPad out. What have you had going on?
Well, I'm just going to hit on a couple of highlights. I've actually been...
Looks like my first flat screen TV.
Yeah, right. So I actually had a meeting of all of the regional IT folks in the state of Pennsylvania where we looked at the draft version of the trustee and audit system, part of Grandview. So secretaries and treasurers out there will be happy to hear that is coming shortly to a website near you. It's, as I've said, if it turns out as simple as what the test site looks like, everybody's going to be pleased with it. Last weekend, I had the pleasure, as I indicated on our last episode, that I was going to go to a training up in Hop Bottom, Pennsylvania, which is up near Clark Summit, where we had a great training. I was so pleased that all of the secretaries and treasurers that were there clearly had been using the system, and it made for a very easy training. But the highlight of the day had to be that when I walked in the room and was introduced, one of the brethren came up and said, "You're from the Masonic Light podcast." And I'm like, yeah. And he says, "My son is like your biggest fan. Before you leave today, I have to get a selfie with you." And so John Cook and the others with me were like, "What the heck? We've got a superstar in our midst here." And so they've been giving me crap about it ever since. But that was a lot of fun. It's amazing when you go out and people actually know about the podcast. They are regular listeners, and I really did appreciate getting that feedback from the folks. So had a great time up there.
I know when I walk to my car, it's kind of like those old Beatles videos.
Yeah.
You know, with the women just chasing me down for the Masonic Light podcast autograph.
You know, we've got to work on those the black and whites with the that we can hand out to our fans. So this past Sunday, Jack and I also attended Cigar Lards #1.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Up at Cigars International. Oh, yeah. And there was a huge crowd there. The Grand Smoke was not present. He was in Florida. But the assistants and deputy Grand Smokes did a good job of herding the masses.
I understand you received a title about that.
I did not realize that I have apparently been appointed aide to the Grand Smoke.
Yeah. So, I have your official badge in my car.
Okay. Well, I guess it is official.
So did you run the show then?
No, I'm just the aide.
Oh, you're just the aide.
Yeah, the aide just sits and lights the...
Oh, so there is a deputy Grand Smoke?
Yeah, there are 2 of them.
2 of them?
3 of them, actually.
Teddy is one, isn't he? No,
John... Jack Brobst and
Jack
and Eddie De Palma or Bobby De Palma. I'm sorry,
the guy from Taxi,
Bobby Baby Boom,
Louis De Palma.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. And then last night I attended an extra meeting of Tricolor Lodge where they were conferring 2 third degrees, and our good buddy Ivo Andretti conferred that degree. And in the middle of one of them, one of the candidates fell over. They had to call off from...
He would say collapsed.
Yeah, he collapsed.
Syncope.
So they had to call in the paramedics and, yeah. So anyway, that's what I've been up to.
Yeah, because you guys can't help him up if it's not time.
That would be very confusing.
We will serve no wine before it's time.
That's right.
All right, let's take a quick break and we'll come back with the rest of the shoe.
Why choose George J. Grove & Sons for your next home improvement project? At George J. Grove & Sons, we've built our reputation on quality and trust for more than 50 years. From planning to materials to installation, George J. Grove promises a home improvement experience second to none. Whether your goal is reducing energy costs, decreasing maintenance, updating curb appeal, or simply increasing the value of your home, the George J. Grove team will recommend and provide solutions that stand the test of time. Call 717-393-0859 for an estimate or visit us at georgejgrove.com.
And we're back, and we're going to talk about a couple of different topics tonight. We don't have a guest tonight. We're just sitting around and we're arguing about what we ought to talk about. And one of the things that came up was the news last week or last episode. Our brother Walter spoke about airing of grievances in a public forum. Let's be straight up. It was. There's a lot of stuff being posted on social media right now that just has no business being in social media. What your Grand Lodge or your Grand Body is doing is nobody's business outside of this. And to throw that stuff up on the internet, I think is, frankly, I think it's a violation of some oaths. But just my thoughts.
Yeah, I saw one last week, and I forget.
Doesn't matter what the body was or what the issue. But.
Well, I'll speak. Shriners International made some change. I have no idea what it was, but I just saw a couple people I can't believe they did this, and it goes on and on and on. Now, it is a semi-private group that's supposed to be just Shriners in the group, so I don't know where. Sure, maybe the person could have had a little more tact and said, can somebody explain to me why they did this? On the surface, I disagree, or something like that. But there's a lot of hate and vitriol in these posts.
I've seen that word before.
Yeah, so anyway, I agree. I think we could tone it down a notch, because it is, even if it's a private group, it's not private.
Well, they're not private, and that's, That's a part of it. It's very few are what do they call it when you manage who comes in and goes out? There's a word.
Moderator.
A moderator. There's a few of them that are fairly tightly moderated, but really, for the most part, who knows, really.
And in reality, I mean, and regardless of whether it is about the fraternity, which I 100% agree with you, Jack, we need to. We want our fraternity to be seen in the best light possible among those outside, and the internal affairs that go on do not need to be.
I mean, there is a place for those discussions.
That's right.
It's in your lodge room.
That's right. It's in the lodge room.
In person.
Right.
It's in these bodies that not on public forums and so on.
It's just let's throw back. Everybody likes to talk about the old days in Freemasonry. Let's throw back 150 years. Would you have put that in the newspaper?
Right. No way.
No.
Right.
So why are you what?
Well, and one of the things that I've come to understand, and I knew this, but I have to remind myself of this, is when you begin a rebut to something that was on a social media forum with "I can't believe" or whatever, you're not going to change anybody's mind.
No, you're not.
You're not really doing anything to build anything up.
Nope.
All you're doing is throwing gasoline.
Stirring the pot. Yep.
And that really is not what we're supposed to be about.
No. Well, since the beginning of the internet, I have yet to have anybody help me change my opinion on something politically or like religiously, yeah, it just doesn't happen.
No.
Right.
But
Well, and that's not the place it would happen anyway,
right.
if it were to.
If it would be your wife made you.
Exactly.
Larry, what do you think?
Somebody wake him up.
What are we talking about? It was interesting. I read the agenda for next Tuesday's meeting, and I realized it was my Masonic birthday, 48 years. And this is taking me back to, you never wrote anything down. You could be decapitated for writing anything down about our lodge. And it was, we kept these things close to ourselves and private.
It's private business.
And then social media comes along and blows the whole cover off of everything. I mean, I don't know. I'm old school. I just don't think we should even be talking about this.
How many beheadings have you participated in?
At the Rock Quarry in Travelers Rest, South Carolina, 3.
Only on the giving end, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, there's
Outside of the statute of limitations down there.
social media allows so many
48 years.
so many good things for communication,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of that communication that it is definitely taking away from butts and seats in lodge.
Absolutely it is. And I'm just going to shut up. I'm done.
Well, it's a
No,
good
don't
point.
be.
Rant over.
All right. Well,
Go,
Does the closing charge, like the thing that's said in the closing charge, does that apply to Masonic bodies? You know, it tells you to basically, you know, in private, you remind people how they're messing up. In public, you present them, you say the best things about them that you can say.
right. That's the 1 Minute Manager. Remember that book from way back before you were born?
criticize and compliment in public. And
praise in public and criticize in private. Yeah. All right.
all right, so now that I'm going to criticize in public. So now I want to give a little talk on what I think is some lodge etiquette, and maybe I'm the only one putting this forward as like my crusade, but somebody might be a good Mason. They may be able to run a meeting. They may be able to give a flawless degree. But there's a really good chance that in their career path, they chose a career and they don't have a lot of experience managing people or having to communicate electronically with large groups of people. And
You got a lot of wires out there right now. Let's see.
yeah, I'm just
He's done a
saying.
good job. Leave him alone.
No, I mean, like, if my job was a mechanic, I would be making a heck of a lot more money than I have ever made in sales. But, you know, you're busy actually physically helping contribute things to society.
Okay.
So you may not have a lot of experience managing a group of people.
Okay.
Or having to email a team.
Okay.
And I think that's a struggle that a lot of our officers have as they go through the chairs, is when they get to the East as worshipful master, they're in this position where they have to lead people. They have to communicate, but they don't necessarily have those skills.
Right. And I guess in theory, your secretary should be elected based on those skills.
Who is the continuity in the lodge? The secretariat, without a doubt, is the backbone.
So I'll just fast forward to my bitch. Here's some tips from Pete. 2, CC, and BCC. 2 means it goes to everybody, and everybody who's on that list, on the 2 list, whoever receives that email can see every other person on that list. If you're sending to a large list of people, use the BCC line for everybody. That is called the blind carbon copy. Because if you're emailing 200 people, and Tim, you can't make it because you're having your gout flare up.
Mm-hmm. Not that would ever happen.
Only person that needs to know about your gout flare up is the organizer.
Right.
Now, 30 other people are going to start going off on a tangent and
About
saying, "Oh,
Tim's
I'm
gout."
sorry about your gout, Tim. I had it in my perineum last week, and it's just going to keep."
Wow.
And we're 50 emails in.
And you get diet tips on pork and stuff like
And
that.
your phone makes a funny little noise every time another email.
And you should try tart cherry juice.
And all the other home remedies.
Now, it even worse because what's the difference between herpes and a group text? A group text is forever. It used to be herpes, but you can get medicine for that now. If you are stuck in a group text, you're screwed.
And you don't stick yourself in that text.
No,
somebody else sticks you in there for you.
And you can't get out. And if you reply back, please remove me from this list because there's somebody that doesn't know they can't get out. And then 12 people tell them how to get out, but you can't. Anyway.
Nice rant, Pete.
For God's sake, and we wish best of luck to our new worshipful master, Larry Hudson. Oh, hey, it's my only platform.
He's doing a better job. He's learning.
He's doing a good job.
All right, what's our next topic? Oh, what are some cool things that...
Right, we do a lot of bitching around here, so let's talk about some of the good stuff.
We're going to go on the other side.
And we scrounged really hard and found a couple good things to talk about. So, what's your first one?
My first one, I guess, is going to be this past weekend. The Valley of Reading and the Valley of Philadelphia partnered up at a lodge in the Paley area. And what is it called, Tim? What's the?
It's something like the Traveling Rite or something like that.
So basically, they went to a Blue Lodge. They showed a video of the fourth degree
on the road,
the Valley of Reading exemplified 1 degree, full costume, full cast, in person. The Valley of Philadelphia exemplified 1 degree. And when it's all said and done, all these men joined the Scottish Rite and were conferred up to the 31st degree. So they are still going to be required to show up at a reunion in order to be considered a 32nd degree Mason. So anyway, the room was packed. There was great degree work, and I just think it's one of the smartest things that have happened in Freemasonry.
The program is called Right on the Road, RITE, Right on the Road, and that's the mission: is get out of your temple and get onto the street.
It was on a Saturday morning, and they did it. Maybe it's a pain for someone, especially like in our area in Chester County, where you don't have a Scottish Rite Valley. You have to choose. If you're in southern Chester County, maybe you go down to the Valley of Wilmington, or the Valley of Philadelphia, or the Valley of Reading.
Well, where were we for Eric's installation? That would be what?
Is that Honeybrook?
No, below south of Honeybrook.
Downingtown? East Brandywine?
No.
Exton.
Was it Brandywine Goddard?
Brandywine Goddard, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Big place. I mean,
West Brandywine Township.
Yeah, you could easily do that kind of Scottish Rite work in there.
And I would imagine, there's certain degrees that just lend well to like the theater and the rounds where everybody can see from all directions, where you're not relying on the the drop behind you with the artwork on it.
And I think the idea behind that is that the various county Scottish Rite clubs will help promote and support that and help build it up. So I'm sure that whatever the county...
And they found the little hook at the end where you're only a 31st degree Mason.
That's right.
So you're not going to go get a 32nd degree double eagle ring to wear
Just
around.
yet. You still got to come to a reunion.
Yeah.
Right. But you're a Scottish Rite Mason.
Correct.
Does that mean we're having a short reunion this year?
No, we're doing a full reunion because that was geared more for the men in that lodge or the men in that region.
Oh.
Whereas the Valley of Reading pulls from like 5 counties.
Oh. Okay.
It'd be nice if you showed up to support your valley once in a while. Larry.
Well, I'm waiting to get the notices for the plays because I'm ready to go.
The plays.
Well, the Grand Valley of Harrisburg, or the Big Valley of Harrisburg, already has their degree list out?
Yeah, ours is out too.
They've graduated from skits to plays.
You know, at Tall Cedars last night, I had her hear about the Big Valley of Harrisburg. Jesus, God.
So what was the other one we came up with? Maybe somebody else can talk about it. I'm running, but National Grotto
National
Day.
Grotto Day is another good thing. Grotto, a couple of years ago, decided they were going to implement this National Grotto Day thing, and it seems to be reminding people that they should go recruit. A lot of bodies forget to recruit, and that's the only thing that's
and it's a lot of guys out there talking about it online. And I mean, I've seen
it's a good program.
I can't relate this into what the success rate's going to be, but I've seen one guy interested in our grotto because of it, and then one person interested in another grotto. So, if each grotto could gain a member, definitely a success.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Larry or Jack, you have something really cool coming up to the Ephrata Lodge.
I do, and I can't. I don't have any of the dates or details.
All right, you looking?
Right
I'll ramble about it while you dig in your
ramble
phone.
for a second.
So, I'm sure a lot of people in our listening area have heard of the Native American. I think they actually call it the Indian degree.
They actually call it the Indian degree, yeah.
And it's these master masons that are Native Americans from Oklahoma. They put on a complete show, and they travel all over the United States. And it's it's not just three guys showing up at your lodge, and that's it. Like, there's
thousands of people that show up to this thing.
Yeah, but there's production behind it too, and it's it's on point. So, in our area where Jack's Lodge does every other year, like they do a lodge in the cave, the cave degree they call it.
Mm-hmm.
The name of the caverns is called Indian Echo Caverns.
Yeah, I found
all right, go ahead.
So Ephrata's biennial every other year cave degree at Indian Echo Caverns is extra special this year with the Oklahoma Masonic Indian degree team conferring the Master Mason degree. Save the date, September 24th. You do need tickets for this event because it does include a meal. And there is a link on the Ephrata Lodge Facebook page if you can get there. We'll post it on.
And maybe somebody could reach out and see if we can get one of those guys on the show.
Okay.
Before
Larry, get on that, will you? Yeah. So anyway, if you go to EphratALodge665.org, I think you can find some information about it there and buy tickets for it. We're expecting 300 or 400 people.
My understanding, though, is that whatever the number is,
you'll get it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Period. Though they're not going to say we're going to open it up for another 100 people because of the venue there.
Right. They're what they're doing here is instead of doing it where we did it before down at the mouth of the cave, they're doing it up on the field above the cave.
Where those longhorn cattle are.
The petting zoo.
Yeah, the petting.
But they're putting up a big tent, a walled tent. Okay. So it's going to be kind of like a tabernacle, and it'll have a roof. So if we get rain, it's a rain or shine thing.
Good.
So it's but we're looking for, I think, 300 to 400 people, and that's going to be all we can handle. So we'll get more details on that. It's not till middle of September, so we'll hit this again.
What tribe are they again?
Doesn't say.
The Masonics.
No, the tribe.
Yeah. Larry, just come
You
back.
want me to contact them, and I can't speak their language.
back
I have
to
to
sleep.
study up.
You're going to... okay.
It's called English, Larry.
Wow. Larry, you're dangerously close here, buddy. Just
Oh, my God.
dangerously.
Can somebody woke him off the show? Whoopi Goldberg's going to have to come in here and give you a talk.
I wasn't.
Once again, we need to apologize to the Indian nations.
Well, the fact that we're saying Indian.
All right. What else you want to talk about?
Josh can cut all that after the official talk.
episode.
All right.
Let's take a break.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more of the Masonic Light Podcast. As far back as the mid-1800s, records exist describing the pre-meeting tradition of brethren smoking cigars during and after gatherings. To this day, the practice of smoking cigars remains very much alive in many lodges. This custom is considered a time for brethren to relax, exchange ideas, and enjoy the simplicity and fellowship that is the very essence of our brotherhood. This is what Hiram Solomon Cigars is all about. Our starting principles are to bring Masonic brethren together in the harmony of a good cigar. Pull up a chair, sit back, light up any of our premium cigars, and enjoy the history. Hiram Solomon Cigars can be found at fine cigar retailers. For a complete list, visit HiramandSolomonCigars.com or check them out on social media to find out when they'll be at a live event near you. Hiram Solomon Cigars is pleased to be the official cigar of the Masonic Light Podcast. And we're back. On the last several episodes, you have heard us talk informally about something Pete's been dealing with over the last several months, and that is one of the dogs that he rescued, which is a Doberman. He's been very involved with a group that we're going to talk a little bit about. Turns out the dog he was rescuing was pregnant, and a few weeks later he ended up with 12 puppies.
That's correct, yes. So I've been volunteering with the Delaware Valley Doberman Pinscher Assistance for about 10 years now. I've gotten all my dogs through them used. Previously enjoyed dogs. And so right now what we do is as of 6 months ago, we had 2 dogs. And our goal was always to keep one revolving that's a foster dog. So we had one little girl for a little while that had a bad hip issue. And she's now in a loving home. And then we took in this little girl named Karma. And as they say, karma's a bitch.
In more ways than one.
Yeah. And, Karma was running the streets of Philadelphia, and she was heartworm positive. So our goal was to get her through heartworm treatments. So at about a month into owning her, or fostering her, we took her in for her first heartworm treatment. And the vet was like, well, we can't do this because she's pregnant. And apparently, somewhere around 2.5 weeks before she would have given birth, she went from being skinny and, her breasts were a little more developed, but we thought she had just been in heat or something, but to looking like a full-blown goat that's ready to milk. Mm-hmm. Like, her belly was so big and round. And we found out later why. She had 12 puppies over 7 hours.
Wow. That's quite a labor.
Yeah, so now my wife and I, it's a pretty big job every day to muck the stable, clean up that whole area.
Muck the stable.
Bring out your dead.
Get these dogs to the point where at 8 weeks they're going to be adopted. So it's kind of cool. I wish we're getting. I get a lot of people following me on Facebook about it. But I'd like to tell everybody, we need your help. We need foster homes, not for the puppies. We need foster homes for adult dogs. And every single animal rescue around the United States and probably the world needs foster homes. And if you have a busy life, you're busy there's even dogs that are out there that are like 5, 6, 7 years old, and they're well-trained and nice dogs. Their owner just went into hospice or something like that. Like, that's the kind of dog that would just be your best friend for the next 5 years. So, step up and do something. We always talk about charity as Masons. It doesn't have to happen in the Mason Lodge. You could do your Mason through your church, your community, anywhere you want. So
adopting a Doberman puppy is probably not in most people's wheelhouse. Tell us a little bit about what that might look like.
Well, you have to understand, all puppies are cute.
Mm-hmm.
At about 6 months to about 18 months, that Doberman puppy is going to be the biggest pain in the butt you've ever... They have so much energy. And if you don't know how to deal with a working dog, they're going to dominate you pretty quickly. And if you don't give them the mental and the physical exercise and the training as a puppy, you're going to end up turning that dog back into the rescue at a year because you're going to say, oh, he's crazy. And yeah, Doberman is not for most people. There's other dogs like that too. A husky, there's just too much energy and they're too smart to just sit and be a couch potato. So yeah, I think like 90% of the people applying are not going to get the puppies.
So I love the story you posted about the Doberman who all day long would chase the ball. And then when the old man got tired or whatever, the dog would bark at him because he wasn't continuing to play with him.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're like an athlete, amateur, that's going to go out there and run that dog every day 3 miles, you're not going to wear that dog out. So, you need to make sure you have a fenced-in yard and a place where he can run a little bit on his own and have some fun, because a walk is just going to that's just going to stretch his legs. He's going to need to let loose somewhere. And if you don't train him and you don't give him that exercise, the first time he slips out your door to bark at the dog that just stepped a foot on his property, now you're going to have a very expensive vet bill probably for the other person's dog. So,
how do Dobies do in general in dog parks?
It's just, every dog's the same, is different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had 5. I've only had one, the one that bit you, that I would label as aggressive or like a very alpha personality. Mm-hmm. All the other ones, I mean, my big Diesel right now, he's 130 pounds and he's just a couch potato. And he'd be great at the dog park. He would probably get chewed up by the other dogs until he finally, if one of them finally hurt him, then he would magically wake up and remember he's a Doberman and
become a Doberman.
Yeah, but he's a pacifist. He will run until he can't run. So, but anytime you have a Doberman, a Pit Bull, a German Shepherd, when you go to the dog park, you feel the eyes on you the second that you walk in.
Oh, absolutely.
Does your dog bite?
I remember when one of my dogs was when Rocco, the crazy one, was a puppy. We went into the dog park and there was this poodle gang, this group of Manheim Township people that were friends. There was like 3 or 4 people, and they each had 2 standard poodles.
They were all wearing bomber jackets and pink.
And like if you had to walk through that part of the dog park, and these big standard poodles would come and they wouldn't bite and hurt, but when you see like 8 standard poodles bouncing towards you as a little dog, it's frightening.
It always scared me in junior high.
And and they're nipping at him. I'm telling the parents, like, you need to control your dogs. Oh, they're just playing. They're playing. But in about another month, this little Doberman puppy is going to be a Doberman adolescent, and is going to hurt one of your dogs, and your dog is the aggressor. And but
did that change your mind?
No, then I became the bad guy.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, because I'm the person that's not from Lancaster County, whose name ends in a vowel, so I'm some sort of
creature.
Yes.
So what's the best part of being a Doberman grandpa?
Just the little things like it is kind of cool watching that whole cycle of life thing, watching them be born. I imagine like development wise, it's like watching. In fact, I got my hair cut the other day. My hairdresser has a like a 4-month, 5-month-old baby, and she was commenting. She's like, "It's so amazing watching your dog and the puppies go through this on such an accelerated developmental rate of her going from skinny to fat to then thin again, and then the puppies just swelling up. But it's all the same stages as like her baby's gone through, but just like on fast forward.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm dealing with some crappy health stuff right now. So, but when I walk in the room and just start picking up puppies, you're just magically happy, But if I had to deal with those puppies, and after 8 weeks, I'm going to be really happy when they're gone at 8 weeks.
So has Mom started to limit her trips to the puppy pile?
Mama dog, really, maybe once a day she'll feed them, but her belly looks like she has German measles because the little puppies have such sharp claws. It can't be at all fun for her to nurse them anymore. And it looks like a zombie movie. When she steps into the area, they swarm her. And literally, like when she lays down, it looks like in that World War Z when the zombies are trying to climb over the wall and they're standing on top of each other. Nope. I mean, if I was her, I would go bump a rail of birth control right now.
Ain't doing that again.
Bump a rail.
I'm sorry.
Bump it.
Oh, well.
So you say you have gone through five Dobermans, right?
Five of my own.
5 of your own, yeah.
Yeah, and I've probably fostered another 20 or 30.
Yeah. What? Tell us about those experiences, kind of overall.
What do you?
Well, I mean, let me ask you this: how did you first get started with this?
So I saw a dog at the in the Humane League, which is the county's shelter, and her ears were really, really big, really floppy, and I thought it was a black and tan coonhound. And I always liked hound dogs. I'm like, that dog's so pretty. I want to go get that black and tan coonhound. And then I went to go see her, and I realized she wasn't a black and tan coonhound. She was a Doberman. She had natural ears. But just like any dog, there's slight variations. And her natural ears did hang a little longer, so I thought she was a hound dog. And nobody cropped her tail. So she had this big, long whip of a tail. But my vet assured me she was 100% Doberman. Now, she became a coonhound when the insurance agent asked what kind of dog it was, because that was cheaper for my homeowners. But then I just fell in love with her, and it's like anybody that's into any kind of a purebred dog. Once you have one and you start learning their particular quirks, it's easier just to stick with it. One of the negative quirks about them is they have some health issues, and they don't live super long. So, when my last ones died, I was looking around for a new breed, but apparently the rescue they have radar. As soon as they hear that you have an opening in your house, they start calling you like the warranty guys. Pete, we really need your help. We have this 4-year-old male that just, escaped a puppy mill, or then you just get stuck. So.
Well, I for one find it very admirable, the work that you and Stephanie have done and the care that you give those guys. They really, I don't know if you feel this way, but looking at it from the outside, it's almost like watching you raise your kids.
It's funner than that because it's accelerated.
It is. It's accelerated,
and you're seeing these little water balloons just kind of blowing up. Now they're these giant,
Well, we kept hoping Pete would install like a puppy cam so that throughout the night and whatever you could just tune in and watch.
Only fans page.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, but at some point,
is there an only dogs?
Is there an only dogs page?
At some point, I'd forget. I'd walk in front of the camera in my boxers, and nobody needs to see any of that. I was talking, Mike Smith, who's the potentate, the Zembo Shrine. He's like, I'm hooked. He watches my daily video I share of the dogs. And he's like, we're going to need you to do this again, and somehow we can tie it to Zembo. And I gave him the idea. I said, I don't know how we could do it, but if we could contact some area shelter and we could sponsor like a camera, like showing into like a pen where they would have puppies, call it like the Zembo, the Zen cam or something like that. But yeah, I'm sure there's some things that whatever shelter would want to know, like, because there's people walking in and out of there cleaning, and it's probably some volunteer who's like 15 years old, and like then you get in all these weird things. So I don't know. If we could work it out, I'd love to see a shelter pair up with us on it. We'd love to do it.
So one thing I want to mention, in the midst of your volunteering to foster a dog that you later find out is going to have 12 puppies, and raising those puppies to 8 weeks, you also monetized that into a fundraiser for the shelter by having a naming contest.
Yeah, that raised about just I know I've got a lot of generous friends, so I think we've raised $1,500 total just by submitting a name for $5 that I didn't even look at. Because it's a donation, It's like you didn't actually you didn't buy a raffle ticket. It was like you're a delegate, but I have super delegates, and that's how we chose. But it's nice that we made so much money on it, because the adoption fee is $500, the same as if you get any other dog. You could go to a breeder and spend $4,000 on a Doberman puppy right now. So they don't jack the prices up because it's a puppy. So we probably lose money based on adoption fees. The only way the shelter, the only way the rescue works is if people make donations.
All right.
This is the first time in 134 shows
That Larry shut up for a second?
that Pete was actually interviewed on the show.
Yeah.
This is the first.
What else do you want to know?
Kudos to Tim for conducting a very good interview.
Got him to answer the questions.
Zimbala Zumbala.
I am totally impressed.
No, I just think that, we like to talk a lot about
Bring on the chickens.
the good things that Masons do. And I think when we have that in our midst,
I think it's perfect.
we need to talk about it. Yeah. And Pete has done this for a long time. And as you said, Pete, charity is not just within the lodge room or within the Masonic.
Right. I do the Santa Stumble thing every year, and that is, Masons would probably not get anywhere near it because there's alcohol involved. Right. But
well, Pennsylvania Masons anyway.
Some Pennsylvania Masons.
But yeah, I don't know. I've had a lot of fun in my life, and a lot of irresponsible fun in my youth, and I'm not a super religious guy, but I just feel like it doesn't cost you anything, and it doesn't hurt to do some good. So more people should do something. Like, I want to poke them with that stick like that meme. Do something.
Exactly.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right. Well, we'll come back in just a moment, and we'll wrap this show up.
Hello, brethren. Dutchie Doug is back with an update from my lodge, the Broken Plow, number 377. Last month, you heard about our pig stomach town hall. Boy, were those leftovers delicious. There are few things better in this world than hash made from leftover pig stomach fried up in a cast iron pan early in the morning. Well, now it's February, and things are back to normal at the Broken Plow. At our January stated meeting, our worshipful master told the brethren that he had a special evening planned for our February meeting. We all nodded from the sidelines, wondering not just what that might be. Given that Valentine's Day falls in February, worshipful master Amos Appleschnitz wanted a program all about love. He delegated the job to our senior warden, Brother Jacob Eckstay, who then delegated the job to Brother Josiah Liebhaber. Brother Josiah was at a loss. What was he going to do to talk about love? Then an idea struck. He would ask our local retired health and phys ed teacher, Fra Futz, to give a lecture on love and the signs of a healthy relationship. Now, Fra Futz had taught PE and health at our local high school for over 30 years and was just freshly retired. She was honored and accepted the job. Brother Josiah told the worshipful master that all was set and that the program would be open to all. Please invite the ladies. When our lodge notice came, we were all excited to tell our own wives and significant others that they were coming to lodge in February for a lecture on love. Now, how special does that sound? Finally, the night of the big event arrived. We quickly opened the lodge, took care of our business, and closed the lodge so that we could invite the ladies into the room for our presentation. In rolled Fra Futz, with her projector and laptop. She also had a bag full of stuff that I just couldn't see what was inside. I left the secretary's desk and joined my own wife on the sidelines. We were all exchanging pleasantries as Frau Futz set things up. I think many of us had expectations of a good discussion on the benefits of being in a healthy relationship, quotes about love, and solid advice on how to maintain a strong bond with your significant other. Boy, were we wrong. Out went the lights and Frau Futz started in. Her first image was that of a lady's body part that normally one only sees in the centerfold of a dirty magazine. Apparently, Frau Futz thought she was teaching 9th grade sex ed all over again. Some of the ladies in attendance verbally gasped. Some of the single men smiled in expectation of the next slide. For the next 20 minutes, Frau Futz enlightened us all on the signs of STDs and what you can do if you get them. If she mentioned the words burning sensation once, she mentioned it 1,000 times. At no point did she actually talk about love, only the dangers of thinking you are in love and acting on those feelings out behind the barn unprotected. In total, we saw 39 images that night, and not one of them was G-rated. Ay, ay, ay. Many of the wives left quite disgusted. Some of the brethren started to exchange stories about that when they were in the service. I guess many of them had first-hand knowledge of some of the diseases that Frau Futz shared that night. In the end, I guess the signs of a healthy relationship equal genitals free of a rash. When it was all said and done, it was quite the evening. Very few people stayed for refreshments afterwards. I guess some had just lost their appetites. In the future, Brother Josiah was told in no uncertain terms that he would never be put in charge of another lodge program. On a different note, our local groundhog, Nijsteckersville Nelson, saw his shadow on the 2nd of the month, so 6 more weeks of winter, brethren. Till next time, work hard, stay plumb, and out in the lights when you leave the room. To learn more about the Pennsylvania Dutch language, culture, and history, please visit my website, padutch101.com, or my YouTube channel. Just search Doug Maidenford.
And we're back.
Ta-da.
So what do we got coming up the next couple of weeks? Josh, how about you?
We have a stated meeting coming up. I think that's going to be before next show.
Yep.
Other than that, I don't really think I have anything else.
What's your program going to be? Do you know?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Well, Larry may know. We'll give him a minute here. Jack, how about you?
Just the usual candidate instruction on Monday nights. Everybody's welcome at Ephrata Lodge for Monday nights, where somebody's in the lodge from 7 o'clock, 6:30 to usually 8:30 or so. Come by, just hang out. It's fun. It's just Masons being Masons and that kind of stuff. I can't think of anything otherwise that I have really pending. I'm going to miss a couple of grotto meetings this month.
Are you really going to miss them, though?
I'm going to miss a couple of grotto meetings this month, but then after that, we'll get back in the swing of it.
Great.
And the days are getting longer.
Yes. Yay.
Something
Pete, how about you?
sun.
It's approaching the spring Stoltzfus.
It is.
Did you say Sultanfuss?
No, the spring Stoltzfus, where the days and nights smell exactly the same.
Oh, okay.
What do I have tomorrow night? I have practiced for the Feast of the Paschal Lamb. It's something our Rose Croix chapter does every year. And we have a Lamberton meeting, which I will be absent from. Millersville. I'm serving a suspension.
Lamberville.
Tall Cedars Executive Board.
Yes. 2nd of February, 2nd of March.
I will be at the Grotto meeting, and I believe the topic is going to be about Major Dick Winters, and he was the. If you saw Band of Brothers on HBO, a lot of that was based on his character. Amazing story. I'm kind of in Jack's boat. Like locally, he totally did not want a memorial or any kind of monument to him because he was just such a quiet guy that did it for everybody. He did nothing for himself. But the community fell in love with him, and they did put a memorial up, and right
up the street.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful memorial, and we're going to hear a little bit about that. Good meeting.
Good. Larry, how about you? What do you got coming up?
I'm alive. I had a cough. I'm alive.
He's back.
Goose and Gridiron on Thursday, Blue Lodge Tuesday. I don't know what the program is. I read the agenda today, but I don't know. I don't remember.
Was that email 17 or 42 that contained the agenda?
It was 36.
Thank you.
E-board on the following Wednesday. Grotto. I will be at Grotto on Sunday.
Great. So what have I got going on? Actually, this weekend, I'm going to the bowling event over near Larry's house, being sponsored by the Scottish Rite Club, I believe, or the Lancaster.
Is that Saturday?
That's Saturday.
Harrisburg.
Yeah, I might go too.
Yeah, that's Saturday. Saturday evening. So we're going to take our mobile equipment and see if maybe we can grab a couple interviews while we're there. Ubar Grotto that we've heard mentioned coming up. I will be at that event. And then on Tuesday, March 1st, I'm sorry, that's not, yeah. Tuesday, March 7th. These late first Monday meetings always screw me up. On Monday, March 7th, Eureka West Shore Lodge, number 302 in Mechanicsburg, will host both a blood drive from 9 to 3 p.m., and then our stated meeting that evening will be Kilt Night, in which we will have one Brian Hill, the sultry voice of the Masonic Light podcast, as our speaker that evening. I will not be in a kilt.
Who got killed?
Not me. But apparently it's something that started in
Sounds
our
like
lodge.
a third degree, a kilt night.
It started out a few years ago as a thing, and it has continued, and guys love it. So we're going to keep doing it. So that about does it for another episode.
So if you're into obese men in skirts,
kilts and skirts, yeah,
come on out.
Mechanicsburg's the place for you. Exactly.
There are some people that like that, by the way.
All right, Josh, let's cue these chickens and get us out of here.
Special thanks to Everett Lodge 665 for continuing to make our broadcast studio available. Thanks to Josh Lambert and producer-director who continues. I say that all the time. Thanks, Josh. Thanks to Jack Harley, our news director, Tim Dedman, our marketing director, and to Masonic Light contributors Michelle Snyder and Doug Maddenford. And I am on suspension for the last joke that I told, so I'm cutting it off there. Thanks for listening. This is Larry Merris.
Hey, Larry.
Yo.
How do you know that the Freemasons were not involved in the Kennedy assassination?
I have a theory on that.
Because it succeeded.
That's bad. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Hey, Moyer, call in.
Oh, yeah, he hasn't done that. That's right. He'll be at breakfast tomorrow.